Okay, everybody, welcome to the Why Roseman conference call / webinar. My name is Michael McConan. I actually work in the admissions office here at Roseman University for the Accelerated BSN program. What I wanted to do today was really just start with a quick video, and then we'll go ahead and move into a PowerPoint presentation. The one thing I do want you guys to be aware of is I am welcoming questions. So if you have questions, type them into the Q&A section of the webinar. I will go through those at the end and answer as many of them as I can. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with our video.
I chose Roseman because it's an accredited program, which is extremely important. It's only 16 months, so you get in, do the school, get done real quick. There's no wait list, which is unheard of for most nursing schools.
Yeah, the speed of the program did matter to me. I liked the fact that it was a hybrid degree online program.
I chose Roseman because I didn't want to wait any longer. Being able to take a class anywhere in the U.S., as well as being in class and still making friendships and having that cohort experience. The whole goal and aim of this university is not to pump out robots. It's to make sure that you really do comprehend the material and that you really are prepared.
Roseman University was a great choice for me because it allowed me to enter into the nursing profession quickly, and in 16 months, I will be your next nurse.
All right, so there was that little video about our accelerated nursing program from some of our students. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and start the presentation portion of our presentation today. So again, everybody, my name is Michael McConan. I work here in admissions for the accelerated BSN program. So let's talk about why nursing. Now, obviously, all of you guys on this call, you have chosen, such a great profession, and it's a great profession, but, why is it that way? And it's clearly because there's a demand for nurses within the field. As you can see, there's 16% growth in jobs for nurses by 2024, and one little fun fact for you is that nurses who graduate with a BSN actually tend to find jobs at a faster rate than those in other professions. And I can agree, I got my bachelor's degree in marketing. So nursing also has a lot of career opportunities. A lot of people think nurses, they think the hospital. But there's so much more to that. You can be a hospital nurse, but you can also work as a school nurse. You can do nursing in the military. You can do research. There's healthcare educators. Nurses got to train nurses. And of course, urgent care, hospice care are some of the really great opportunities that are out there. So enough about nursing. Let's talk about Roseman. Roseman actually has 2 locations. I actually call them destination locations because, well, we've got Salt Lake City, and then we have Las Vegas, Nevada. So they're actually both in suburbs of those larger cities. So Salt Lake's in South Jordan, which is about 20 to 30 minutes south of downtown Salt Lake City. So many cool things to do down in Salt Lake. I've had the opportunity to go a few times myself. And then, of course, our Las Vegas campus is in Henderson. We're about 15, 20 minutes east of the Las Vegas airport, and about 20 minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. So far enough away to not be a distraction, close enough that when you do have that free time from nursing school, you have the opportunity to go. Here, our accelerated program actually starts 3 times a year. So we do a February, a July, and an October cohort. This gentleman here is Sean. He's actually one of our graduates. He attended our Las Vegas campus. He's from Northern California. And what's funny is he had always said, I never really considered relocating. But as you can see here, California was oversaturated with prospective nursing students. Programs had 2-year waiting lists. 16 months later, he's already working, and he's got a lot of friends that are still waiting to get into nursing programs. Our program is also accelerated. It is a 16-month program that utilizes online coursework with hands-on coursework like your skills labs and your clinical rotations. And these are done at top healthcare locations throughout Salt Lake and Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, if you do attend Las Vegas, all your clinicals would be done in Las Vegas. And then, of course, vice versa. If you're in Salt Lake, all your clinicals would be done in Salt Lake. So we're not going to say, oh, well, you're in Salt Lake, go to Las Vegas. Roseman's got a really great 6-point mastery learning model. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on all of these points, but the key points here really is that Roseman believes in a block-style curriculum. What this means for students like yourselves really is that our students only focus on one single course at a time. Each course or block, they actually range in length. They vary between 2 and 8 weeks, purely dependent on the topic. Every single block builds upon the previous block. So if you're in block 3, you're using the information that you've learned in block 1 and 2 to piece those together. So at the end of the day, it does become comprehensive. We also have competency-based education. And what this means for students is that it's really about mastery learning. Mastery learning is this concept that is built on an achievement standard of 90%, and we do require students to obtain that 90% on their assessments, but you're given multiple opportunities to get there. So no one here at Roseman expects you to get it all by yourself on your first attempt. So you do have multiple opportunities to obtain that 90% standard. And then early experiential learning, this goes to clinical rotations. Your clinical rotations at Roseman are actually built in throughout the program. You see your first clinical, I want to say at week 7, which is block 3. And your clinical rotations are also full-scale shifts. So you're going to perform typically 3 12-hour shifts each week that you have a clinical rotation. We do see 4 10s or 5 8s when we get into courses like community or mental health. Here at Roseman, we are also accredited. So we have a regional accreditation, which is through the Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities. We also have programmatic accreditation, which is through the Accrediting Commission for Education and Nursing, or the ACEN. And then we're also recognized by both the Nevada State Board of Nursing and the Utah State Board of Nursing. Being that we're a private school, we're also a nonprofit university, and our university has a single focus on healthcare. So you can bet that you're actually getting, the best experience here at Roseman. We don't have 200-degree programs like larger state schools. We have 4 programs. We have nursing, we have pharmacy, dental medicine, and then we also have an MBA program with a focus in healthcare. Here are actually some testimonials from some students that are either A, in the program, or B, have currently graduated the program. Lacey says that Roseman creates amazing nurses. She attends our Utah campus. In the like, Jordan on the top right also attends our Salt Lake campus and says that she really enjoys the online learning. It's just allowed her to kind of go at her own pace. David down in the bottom left mentions that he feels like he's got really good professors that, make sure that they have the best clinical experience possible. And then Jonathan Lee down in the bottom right says the block schedule is one of the best things about the program. He feels like he can learn the material just a little bit better. So there's some testimonials from some current students as well. Everyone always asks about admissions requirements, and I always say that Roseman has requirements that make sense. So these are the requirements. We have 2 different tracks that students can come into, whether you have a bachelor's degree or whether you do not. If you do have a bachelor's degree, we're looking simply for your math and science prerequisites, which are chemistry, anatomy, physiology 1 and 2, microbiology, and then statistics. And then we also have a U.S. Nevada Constitution requirement. U.S. Constitution for both campuses, Nevada Constitution, clearly for the Las Vegas, Nevada campus. Those courses are co-requisites, meaning they're not required before you start school. If you do not have a bachelor's degree, I am looking for your math and science prerequisites along with some general education coursework. Minimum GPA is a 2.75 on a scale of 4.0. And we do require the test of essential academic skills. We do currently require the new version if you have not taken it within the last 12 months. Minimum score on that exam is a 58.7. I tell students competitively, you really want to try and be in the mid to upper 70s. Now that doesn't mean that if you don't get there that there's not something we can look at or work out, but you definitely want to shoot for that mid to upper 70 range. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for some questions. Now I did have some questions here. So I saw that someone had asked about how many students are in classes. So we do offer, it depends on the campus. So with Las Vegas, we typically see anywhere from 48 to 64 students. In Salt Lake, really anywhere from 30 to 48. I've got another question here that says, they were a retired veteran. Do we accept the post 9/11 GI Bill? The answer to that is yes. We actually have a veterans to BSN admissions pathway. So we are definitely a very military-friendly school. One of two schools last year that received a grant as a part of the HRSA. So I would encourage all military students to look into that. It's just a way for you to get credit for your military experience. Someone had asked about obtaining a copy of the actual application just to get an idea of what it looks like. Our application isn't an actual paper application. This is actually done through NursingCAS. So if you go through nursingcas.org, you can fill out your application there. It's a great way to get ahead of the game, but the applications right now for next year are not open yet. We do anticipate those to open on December 1st. You would also want to work with an admissions representative or advisor like myself, and just make sure that you meet all of the coursework, you meet the GPAs, and really, we're here to guide you through those steps one by one. So this way, you're not having to refer back to the website constantly. You actually have a personal advisor that's going to guide you through this process. Somebody asked me, how can I take prerequisites that are required by Roseman University? So we actually have multiple options for prerequisites, just depending on what you need. Do you need the prerequisites that are math-based, science-based, or are they general education? So we have online options that are accelerated. We have traditional options that are based on campus. We at Roseman do not actually offer the prerequisites, but we do have agreements with multiple universities where we accept their coursework. So your best bet, again, would be to get a copy of all of your unofficial transcripts together and connect with an admissions advisor, and we can walk you through all of that. I got another question here about how much the overall program is, including books and other material requirements. So as far as tuition and books is concerned, I tell students you're looking at right around $60,000 all inclusive. If you add the books to that, it depends if you want new or used books. So honestly, I've seen students get used books for a total of $500 or $600 if they go through Amazon, Newegg, Half.com, of course, all of those crazy websites. If you want them brand new, you'll add about $1,400 or $1,500 to that. Which honestly, I remember paying $1,400 for a semester of books. So to have that over the course of 16 months is not too bad. Someone asked about what financial aid options are available. So we do have a full-service financial aid office. We do offer financial aid for all students, of course, who qualify. So I encourage students to look into their FAFSA. Of course, there are private loan options, there are scholarship options, there are out-of-pocket payment options. So again, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here, but your best bet really is to get with an admissions advisor. Let us walk you through the process and connect you with our financial aid counselors as well. Someone had asked, does the program have to be full-time or is there night school? This is actually a really good question. The answer is that the program is actually a full-time program. Most students are not working while they're in school. And then the only night school, and I'm doing my little imaginary bunny fingers, as you can imagine me doing that right now. The only night school that's really there is probably in a clinical rotation. Those are not, they're assigned to students, so it's not technically night school. You may do a day shift, you may have a mid shift, or you may have a night shift where you're working 7P to 7A. Anything that you do on campus is going to be Monday through Friday through the hours of 8 and 5 p.m. And I got another question here about talking to a financial advisor prior to filling out an application. You absolutely can. Again, what I would still recommend that you do prior to going that route is to call your admissions advisor, make sure that you have everything in order, and then we can absolutely connect you with a financial aid counselor to walk you through what that process would look like. And our advisors here, too, will walk you through some very basic information about tuition and financing. I'm sure you'll find that the resources we have here are some of the best. And then I've got one last question here. It looks like so far I graduated with a subpar GPA that is below the range of consideration for acceptance. Is this considered a waste of my time, or should I still apply to the program? So although the minimum GPA is a 2.75, if you are below that, you know, our job is not to judge and say, hey, too bad, it's a waste of your time. I don't think education is ever a waste of your time. So what we can do, again, if you send a copy of your unofficial transcripts, we can actually review those together. We can lay out an academic advisement plan that will let you know where you're at academically in relation to what our requirements are based on whether you're a degree or a non-degree seeking student. And then we can actually talk about how many classes you would need to take in order to boost your GPA. We can provide you with all the resources as far as where you can go to take those classes. And again, try and keep things as cost conscious as possible. So that's my answer to that. Do we have any more questions today? I'll kind of hang out for another minute. If not, then I will let everyone go back to enjoying their weekend. I would say the only other thing I have for you guys here, there is our website. And then there's my direct contact information. I'm actually, like I said, I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Roseman. So if you guys have, you know, specific questions that you did not feel comfortable asking today, you are more than welcome to email me directly. I'll leave that up there so you guys can write that down. And then if you have, if you want your transcripts reviewed, if you want to know where you stand, please just send me an email with a copy of your unofficial college transcript. And your name and your phone number, and I will do everything I can to help you out and walk you through this process. Guys, I've had, I know I can't hear you, but I've had a great time chatting with you guys. I hope you have a good weekend, and look forward to seeing you guys at Roseman.